Let's talk about something. What if the biggest thing separating success from failure wasn't your job, your background, or your luck, but just a single question you ask yourself every day? Today, we're diving into a really simple but powerful story that shows how our internal questions completely shape our external world, even when we all start from the exact same place.
So our story kicks off like one of those classic fables, you know? You've got two farmers standing side by side, sharing the exact same sky. But as you're about to see, they were living in two completely different worlds.
And this is the heart of the entire story right here. One farmer lived his life asking, "What if I lose?" It's a question that comes from a place of fear. The other, he was guided by a different question. What if this grows? That one comes from a place of possibility. These two little questions, they create two totally different destinies.
Okay, so let's set the stage, and this is super important to get right from the start. The playing field was perfectly level. Both of these farmers began with the exact same resources, the same opportunities, no advantages.
They had the exact same rich, fertile soil to work with. They got the same amount of sun, providing that same warmth and energy.
And you guessed it, the same rain came down to water their crops. So on the outside, everything was identical. Absolutely no one had a head start. The stage was perfectly set for their two different mindsets to take over.
So if everything on the outside was the same, what gives? Where did things start to change? Well, it all came from the inside. It came from the seeds they decided to plant. And I'm not just talking about the ones they put in the ground, but the ones they planted in their own minds. And this is where you can see their thinking turn into real-world action. The first farmer, because he was so afraid of losing, he held back. He clutched his seeds, guarded his resources, and only planted a tiny amount. The second farmer, on the other hand, was looking for growth, so he planted generously. Now, this doesn't mean he was reckless. It means he was intentional. He accepted that risk is just part of the game.
Just imagine that little voice in the first farmer's head, constantly whispering this. It's that nagging fear of potential loss, that defensive crouch you take against the future. And that question, it paralyzes you. It keeps your world small.
And this, right here, this just perfectly shows you how a scarcity mindset works. From where he was standing, the other farmer's generosity and risk-taking didn't look like an investment. No way. It looked like pure foolishness. It looked like waste.
Right, but life is never that simple, is it? No journey is ever a straight line. Sooner or later, a storm's gonna hit for everyone. And that's the real test. It's the moment that reveals what your foundation is truly made of.
And sure enough, it did. A big one. Heavy rains, strong winds, and it slammed into both fields with the exact same force.
Okay, and this is maybe the most important question in this whole story. Because it's not the event itself that defines us, right? It's how we react to it. So, faced with the very same disaster, how did their different mindsets kick in? Well, the first farmer completely panicked. He saw the storm as proof that his fear was right all along. He actually used the setback to say, "See, I told you so. I was right to play it safe." But the second farmer, he didn't obsess over what was lost. He stayed calm, he walked his field, and he focused on what was left standing, the foundation he could rebuild from. But see, the real difference, the real story, isn't made in a single storm. It's revealed over the long haul. It's the pattern of choices, season after season. This is the consequence, the long harvest. So what did the first farmer's life look like? Well, he saved his seeds, sure, he protected what he had, but he never grew. His fear dictated every single move, keeping him from ever taking the risks you need to take to multiply. He survived, yeah, but he was permanently stuck in a state of scarcity.
In the second farmer, a completely different reality. He treated every season like an investment of his time, his effort, his patience. And crucially, when he lost something, it didn't break him. It taught him. Every setback was just data. And slowly but surely, that cycle of investing and learning led to more crops, which led to more options, and ultimately, a whole lot more freedom.
And you know what's crazy? This is what we do all the time, right? We look at someone's success, the end result of years of consistent effort, of taking risks, of learning from failure, and we just chalk it up to luck. Wow, he's so lucky. But it had nothing to do with luck. It was a direct result of his mindset. Okay, so let's boil this whole story down. Because it was never really about farming, was it? The field is just a metaphor. It's your life, it's your career, your relationships. The real variable isn't the field you're given,
It's the mindset you bring to it.
So this is the scarcity mindset. This is the first farmer. It's like playing defense your whole life. Your primary goal is just to protect what you've got. You're driven by that one question: what if I lose?
And then there's the rich mindset. And let's be super clear here, we're not just talking about money. This is a richness of perspective. It's about playing offense. Its goal isn't just to protect, it's to expand what's possible. And it's all driven by that other question: what can this become?
And that's really the bottom line, isn't it? Growth requires a leap of faith. It asks you to invest your time, your energy, your resources, believing that something will grow, even when you have absolutely no guarantee of a harvest.
And so, that brings it all back to you, the field. That's your life. Your circumstances are your circumstances. The real power you have is in the question you decide to bring to it. So the final question isn't for the farmers, it's for you. Which mindset will you choose? Which question is going to define your world? What if I lose? Or what if this grows?